Almost every living organism in the animal kingdom share several physical characteristics. Most have one heart, 2 lungs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 noses, 1 mouth, etc. Wait, 2 noses? Yes. Almost all animals have one nose with 2 nostrils that are basically acting as 2 separate noses. But, why do we have the features in the numbers that we do? The fact that so many animals share the same numbers of the same features means that over the millions of years of development, these features must be useful enough to help the animals survive and reproduce, as that is how features are passed on from generation to generation. What do each of these features and their numbers do for the living organism? 2 eyes. Way back in the early history of the Earth, the first eyes were simple cells that somehow developed the ability to detect light. Over time, these cells became more and more sophisticated. They went from being able to simply detect light to being able to make out different shapes and then color. Finally, at some point, 2 eyes developed, and this gave the animals the ability to have depth perception. This means that the 2 eyes work together to help determine how far away things are. Could you survive with only 1 eye? Of course. However, your perception of depth will be impacted by not having a second eye to measure distance. 2 ears. After sight, hearing is our next most used sense that we have to help navigate the world. Our sense of hearing obviously comes from our ears. The latest scientific research shows that our ears actually evolved from fish gills millions of years ago. It was also discovered that hearing in animals developed before animals started living on land. Over time, the double ears that we now know developed, and 2 ears provide a greater ability to determine the direction sounds are coming from. Could you survive with only 1 functioning ear? Of course. However, your ability to determine the direction of sounds will be more difficult. 1 mouth. Do we really want humans to have more than 1 mouth? It seems like 1 mouth is more than enough. But seriously, the main purpose of the mouth is to eat things, to provide energy to all of your body's functions. Because just about everything has no more than 1 mouth, there must not be an evolutionary advantage to having a second mouth. We eat for only a small portion of the day, so there is no survival need for a second way to intake food. 1 nose but 2 nostrils. Most animals have just 1 nose, but that is a little deceiving. That 1 nose is divided into 2 nostrils that act quite independently. The way the nose has developed, it is really like we have 2 noses packaged into 1 structure. The nose serves 2 functions. The most important is obviously to take in oxygen and send it to your lungs. Your body cannot live with food alone, and it cannot live with oxygen alone. Chemical reactions in your body use oxygen to process food into energy. The second function of the nose is to detect odors, to smell things. Receptors in our nostrils detect tiny particles that escape their original source to detect recognizable odors. Some particles can be detected very easily by our receptors. However, other particles take more time to process. To solve this problem, your nose will have 1 nostril that will be dominant for the main purpose of taking air to the lungs. The other nostril will fill its veins with more blood in order to constrict or shrink the size of the opening. This smaller opening will take in air more slowly, which allows the receptors more time to process the odor particles. What is interesting is that your body will randomly switch which nostril is dominant several times a day. Why the body does not just have a permanent dominant nostril is a mystery. It is also a mystery on how and when the body decides to switch nostrils. This might help you understand why your ability to smell decreases when one of your nostrils is blocked due to a cold. Your body needs oxygen more than the ability to smell, so the other nostril will concentrate on fast air intake at the detriment of your ability to smell. Either way, understanding why we have the features we do helps understand the very long process of slow change over time or evolution that helped make your incredible body. Well, that's all we have today. We hope you have a good day.